Just when you guys thought the new year saved you from an old series, I'm back once more with my You've Never Used This Team series. I bet I fooled a lot of you into thinking that the Sword and Shield video was the end, but no, I'd always planned to do one for Scarlet and Violet. So just to remind you about what this series entails, I'm basically gonna present a team with my own movesets thrown in, and make the claim that nobody playing Scarlet and Violet has ever used it. I'm as confident as always in thinking that these 6 Pokemon have never been brought together before, but certainly will be after this video comes out. Hence why I offer some movesets. Before we start though, today is Sunday, so that means we have another segment of Should You Use This Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet over on Mystic Umbreon Shorts. This week we have Doxbun, and this one is definitely going to be a fun one. Also over on Mystic Reads, we have another segment of Road to be a Pokemon Master Kanto Edition, an adventure with Ash and Serena traversing the Kanto region. I will leave the Doxbun video and link to Mystic Reads in the description below and the iCard above. So let's go ahead and get into our team here today, which you've definitely never used, mind you. So today, we're going to replace our starter, as we often do in this series, with something else, as that's always a good way to make sure someone hasn't used this team. Did you know that 83% of Pokemon players use their starter for their entire playthrough? I didn't, because I just made that up. But who knows? It could be true. I'm going to choose Talonflame to take the place of the starter, since that feels like the most boring choice among the early game Pokemon, since it not only isn't a new Pokemon, but it also has been featured in every generation since its debut, and thus some people could be very sick of it. You'll find Fletchling when you begin, and at level 35 it'll be a Talonflame. I'm fairly confident in this being a great jumping off point here, honestly. Talonflame might be pretty decent, all things considered, for an in-game playthrough. But who would box their starter for one? Nobody. That's who. Alright, here's my Talonflame moveset I'm offering up today. It'll be Brave Bird, Flare Blitz, Acrobatics, and U-Turn. Now, I bet you guys have never seen a moveset quite like this on a Talonflame. Absolutely not. Don't try to convince me otherwise. So with Brave Bird, you're definitely going to learn that via TM, because nobody is going to get to level 83 during a regular playthrough, let's be honest. You can find its TM at the Watchtower near the southern area of Casaroya Lake, among a few other places. Then, for Flare Blitz, that can be remembered rather easily from the moves menu. Following that is Acrobatics, learned at level 22. And finally, U-Turn as a TM can be found on Glaciado Mountain, or crafted with Scyther and Nimbleclaw after beating Atticus. So this next one is a little strange to go with. You're going to want to get your hands on a Wooper while making your way through the start of the game, and then you're going to want to make your way to Cascarafa. That's right, this team wouldn't feature Quagsire because people love that thing. No, instead it has the other Wooper evolution, Quagsire. You can get this boy simply by trading in your Paldean Wooper for a Jotonian one in Cascarafa, and then getting it to level 20. I feel there are some people who don't even realize that you can get this Wooper, let alone a Quagsire in these games through normal means, which really adds into my thought process to putting this thing on the team. Surely you guys could agree, no? Aqua Tail, Earthquake, Stone Edge, and Trailblaze are the moves on Quagsire today. Definitely a far cry from what we'd ask Clodsire to do. It'll learn Aqua Tail at level 28, and then Earthquake at level 52, but you'd probably be better off getting your hands on the TM for it. You can be rewarded that by taking out 5 trainers in the Asado Desert, and then speaking to the League Rep at one of the nearby Pokemon Centers. Finally, Stone Edge and Trailblaze are both TMs, the latter being to earn the same as Earthquake, except you need to clear out 6 trainers in North Province Area 1 and then speak with the rep, and the latter being your reward for knocking off Brassius. Well, I guess now would be an appropriate time to throw in a new Pokemon, since if I just threw in old ones, this would be pretty boring, and naturally it'd be guaranteed nobody has used this team. So for the sake of keeping things interesting, up next is the Dunsparce, which you get from cutting a Dunsparce's stomach out and sticking it into another Dunsparce. That's one of the grossest and yet simple evolution methods of all time. Oh, wait. Okay, actually, what you do is find a Dunsparce and then teach it Hyper Drill, and after leveling up, it'll evolve. That's my bad, I kinda got confused. Anyway, you can find Dunsparce literally like anywhere if you look hard enough. I'll show a list here on screen now. This evolution was a long time coming, so it's probably one many people ended up using just because they wanted it, even if it didn't get the dragon typing like expected. So Dunsparce has got Hyper Drill, Dragon Rush, Smart Strike, and Coil. I thought way ahead of the game here with this moveset, as you can see. Hyper Drill is learned at level 32, and as we know, is a big part of helping Dunsparce evolve, so might as well keep it on and do some nice damage with it. Then Dragon Rush, learned at level 40, may not have the best accuracy, but definitely hits hard. We move on to Smart Strike, being learned via a TM that you can only craft after beating Mela, for Heracross and Choodleclaw. Finally, Coil is here to help any accuracy issues you'll have of Dragon Rush, as it's learned at level 44. Grimmsnarl is going to be the next Pokemon on the team here, as I just, like it. And figure at this point I could truly go with anything random, and it definitely would fit the topic of the video. It's a good Pokemon, which influenced me as I didn't want everything on the team to be just middle of the road. You can find Impidimp in the Tag Tree Thicket, and when you get it to level 42, it'll be Grimmsnarl with its strong 120 attack stat. It's a pretty fitting Pokemon on this team, honestly. I'm glad none of you can tell me that this is just a team of bad Pokemon or anything. I bet you the next Pokemon I pick will be really great too. The Grimmsnarl moveset I'm suggesting is Spirit Break, False Surrender, Brick Break, and Leech Life. Spirit Break is learned when Morgrem evolves into our Grimmsnarl, and False Surrender will be learned when evolving from Impidimp into Morgrem. Evolution. Brick Break's TM is found in the Asado Desert atop some high terrain, but it can also be made with Makuhita Sweat, Hawlucha Down, and Crabrawler Shell after you beat Atticus. Finally, with Leech Life, you'll learn that via TM once again, found under a tree near the Monte Nevera gym. Oh man, oh boy, I was wrong. We do not have a really good Pokemon following up Grimmsnarl. No. Instead, we have Swalot, who I originally was going to put on the worst team, but decided to throw it here on this team instead for a little bit of deep cut diversity. Also, considering Swalot is a version exclusive Pokemon for Violet, it adds on another layer of going unused by the majority of players. This purple bag of poison has very few redeeming qualities, boasting only slight bulk and awful speed with rather middling attack stats. I suppose I have once or twice seen a Swalot used by people, and there's probably a YouTuber in some playthrough I'm not remembering that popularly used one. But in this instance, here today, Swalot is playing its role of being bad by aiding the case for this team never being used. Swalot is going to be running a lot of great moves because it's such a great Pokemon, guys. You heard it here first. It's got Sludge Bomb, Zen Headbutt, Giga Drain, and Body Slam. Sludge Bomb is learned at level 37, and Body Slam is learned when you evolve from Gulpin. Then with Zen Headbutt, you'll learn that via TM you can locate on a cliff near the Cascarrafa gym. And Giga Drain is also found just outside of Cascarrafa. So we're going to close out the team with a Pokemon that is simply annoying to get. It's Pawmot. Figured I'd get one more new Pokemon in here to make sure you guys don't tell me this video was too boring because I only mostly used old ones. Pawmi is a very early encounter, but the only way to evolve from Pawmo to Pawmot is to use the Let's Go feature and have it walk 1,000 steps out of its Pokeball, which is a bit more annoying than it comes off. It's not always easy to make sure that Pokemon actually stay outside of their Pokeballs if you get too ahead of them, which is a big drawback when it comes to dealing with this evolution method. Though it's still by no means the worst thing to have to deal with, and Pawmot is a pretty solid Pokemon with the electric fighting typing. It feels like a perfect little endpoint for the team today. This final moveset of the day on our Pawmot will serve as the token coverage set, featuring Close Combat and then the Elemental Punches. You can never go wrong with throwing some coverage out on a team. Close Combat is learned at level 44, and then the Elemental Punches are all TMs, which you can craft after you defeat Atticus and his team's Star Crew. You'll need a bunch of Metatite Sweat for all three, and then Charcadet, Toxel Sparks, and finally Cubchoofer. Alright, that's it for the team that nobody has ever used when playing Scarlet and Violet. If you want to try to lie to me and say you have, you can go ahead and do that, but I'll need documented proof and hardcore evidence. If you decide to give this team a try, tell me how it goes for you. I'd be interested to find out if someone could actually make it work. For now though, I'm done with this series for the time being, unless I can think of something else. Maybe I'll go back around to some of the older games. We'll see. But for now, I'll catch you all later. Thanks for watching the video and for coming through and enjoying Scarlet and Violet with me. We've got so much content coming surrounding Gen 9 through the end of the year and beyond, including the top 10 strongest Pokemon, the best team for the games, and much more. If you're interested in more Mystic content, check out my TikTok and Mystic Umbreon Shorts YouTube channel. When we get to 5,000 subs on the channel, we're gonna have a new series related to Scarlet and Violet that will be exclusive to there, so go subscribe. Also, if you're into fanfictions or Genshin Impact, check out Mystic Reads and Tybotchinary. I offer a ton of creative spoken word content over there, and I do a bunch of theories and lore videos surrounding Genshin Impact. So come join me over there at that floats your boat. That's all for now. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time for more Scarlet and Violet content.